I want to write a program which will count the number of vowels in somebody's name that they enter. So here's what I have so far. I'm prompting somebody to enter name, and this is the default, Elmer J. Fudd Millionaire. Those of you who have ever watched Bugs Bunny, perhaps you might know the reference. And then I have a variable called vowel count because I'm trying to count how many vowels are in something which user enters. And then I have a for loop. This type of thing you will see occur again and again. I made a for loop to allow me to look at each individual letter in a string of letters, and the string in this case is the default Elmer J. Fudd Millionaire. And I'm going to go from 0, which is the position of the first item. Remember, when you count positions in a string, this is position 0, position 1, and so forth. So my x value goes from 0 to less than the length, because remember, the length of this is actually one more than the last letter. In other words, if I have a 3-letter word, for example, the letters are numbered 0, 1, 2. So I want to go up to, but not quite, I want to go less than the length, if that makes any sense. So that's why I'm saying x less than the length, and then I'm incrementing x plus plus. In here I have an if statement, and I'm saying if name.substring x to x plus 1, what this does is substring from position x, so the first time through the loop, x is 0, so it's getting the character starting at position x up to but not including position x plus 1. So what this basically does is gets one character at a time starting at position 0. And then the loop repeats, and now it gets the character at position 1 up to but not including position 2. So again, it gets a single character. So convince yourself of this. This substring x to x plus 1 gets one single character at a time, and since I have it in a for loop, it'll look at every single character in the for loop beginning with character 0. And I'm saying if the character in name, if a single character in name is equal to a, I'm going to increase my vowel count, because I guess a is a vowel. So I'm going to run this thing, and let's see what we get. So I'll run it in Chrome and enter a name, and I'll just use the default Elmer J. Fudd Millionaire. Okay, and it says your name has 1 vowels in it. Okay, well, where did it get the 1 from? Well, it went through here, and every time it saw an A, because I'm looking for A's, it increased the vowel count. So that's why it said 1. Well, that's great, but what I'd like to do is count all the vowels. So I certainly could say if name.substring x to x plus 1 equals a, or name.substring x to x plus 1 equals e, or name. What are all the vowels? A, E, I, O, U, or if name.substring x to x plus 1 equals I, and so forth, and I could go through all the vowels like that. But I think there might be a more efficient way of doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another variable, and maybe I'll call the other variable vowels, and I'm going to set it equal to a string of all the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so now I have a string of all the vowels. And so now what I'm going to do is instead of checking to see if a single character is equal to A, I want to see if it is found in my string of vowels. So how do you look for a single character or a set of characters in another string? Well, that sounds like index of. So what I'm going to do, and this is tricky stuff, I hope this makes sense, I am going to look for index of, okay, so I'm going to look for this single character. Remember, name.substring x to x plus 1 is a single character, one character at a time as it goes through the name. I'm going to look for this single character in vowels. That's what index of does. It looks for a string in a larger string. I'm looking for this in vowels. And if it's not found, I'll get a -1. If it is found, it will not equal -1. So I want to know if it is found in the string of values. In other words, I want to know if it's not equal to -1. The other way to do it is I could ask is it greater than or equal to 0, because then I know that it will be in there. Or I could just say greater than -1 if I wanted to. But so not equal to -1. Let me go over this again. If it equals -1, it means it's not found. This character is not found in a string of vowels. But I want to know if it is a vowel. So I'm saying not equal to -1. Okay, so if it's not equal to -1, I'm going to increase the count of vowels. Now I think I have everything correct, so let's see if this works. I'll give it another run. I'll just refresh it. And it says, in fact, there are 8 vowels here. Let's see if I got that right. So it went through one letter at a time. E, it looked for E in here, and so forth. I found another E, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's weird. There are 9 vowels, yet it only found 8. The reason, of course, is that one of these is a capital E. And remember, JavaScript is case sensitive, so it was looking for the letters in this string, which is a lowercase string, and the E was in fact uppercase. So there's many ways to fix that, but perhaps the easiest way to fix that is I could make a second version of vowels. Like I could just go like A, E, I, O, U, like that. That's certainly, and look for it in that string. That would work. Actually, let's do that. A, E, I, O, U. So now it's going to look for each letter in the lower and uppercase version of vowels. And if I run this again, you'll see it'll tell me 9 vowels. That's certainly one way to fix it. The other way to fix it is to make each character that I'm getting a lowercase. So I could say dot to lower case. So what this is doing is, let me put a character term there. This is taking the character, lowercasing it, and looking for it in this string of vowels. And you'll see if I run this, this should also work. I should also get 9, which is the correct answer, and it has 9 vowels in it. This is a tricky one, but this is an important. These are several actually important concepts. The whole idea of reading through an entire string, looking at one character at a time. This is big stuff, and in this case, I'm just looking to see if a letter is a vowel. But I could use the same technique to print letters one at a time, maybe down the screen, or I could use the same idea to print a string backwards by changing my for loop around. Or I could actually, instead of just checking for vowels, I could see if each of these characters is in fact in the whole alphabet by just listing every letter in the alphabet. So this is a big one. There are a couple of important concepts here. Read through this, play around with the code, and make sure you understand what's going on. All right.